Hi guys, it's Theodore here. Good to be back. This evening it will be just a short stream. I was a bit late. Real life got to me, and I had some work I had to do. But now here I am. I'm glad that I managed to finally get on time. As I told Lud. That I will be streaming today. Unfortunately, it is a bit late for him and he is not able to join us, but for sure he will join us on Friday. We're planning to have another stream at 9:30 on Friday, so we're more than welcome to join us then. Until then, well, today I just want to talk with you about some of the lists we discussed here on the channel, and to do a short recap and see if we missed anything. I will be waiting for you guys to join me on and see how the things are going. Basically, what I've done until now is present you guys some lists together with Lud from the UK D-Day book and from the US D-Day book, and we try to make some comparisons between how things are in the US book and how things are in the UK book concerning, for example, Shermans. We didn't come to a conclusion on that point, and I'm a bit, we're owning this to you, and I think we should discuss together with you guys which of the two lists are better and which ones will come on top in tournaments. From my point of view, they are both good lists. I tried the US Sherman lists. I've tried them against competitional lists, German defensive lists, and usually they come on top. It's a 50-50 win rate for me for the moment. I have 4 matches, 2 losses, 2 wins. In both of them, I had the support of a Firefly platoon, and usually what happens is that the German player having Tigers in his list will kind of try to focus my my Firefly and try to put it out of the game as soon as possible. And usually what happened were that my 76s were able to get the shots into the Tigers, and it's not often that, I mean, it's not something that doesn't happen too often, that players do roll their 1-1, so the snake eyes, and when that happens, you can't do anything about it. And even if the Tigers remount on 2+, they stay bail out, and then the other one has to take a test, and usually another one will get those Tigers of the table. So having that in mind, I think that the US Shermans, the veteran US Sherman list is quite powerful. It's a list that we can build on, and maybe in a certain climate, I mean, in a way, I mean, if you play them wisely, and if you play them in a certain style, for me, as I told you in one of my first streams, I like playing aggressive. I like playing into the face of the opponent and rushing them. And I think the Shermans provide you with that possibility, because you have those stabilizers that help you a lot with moving and shooting. As Lud also said, you're often tempted to roll the blitz, to try to get those stabilizers not involved into the to hit the count, so that you are, let's say, in a better position to shoot those 6s that you need, for example, for gun to ground targets. For me, in comparison to the UK list, I must admit that I think the UK Shermans, and in general the UK book, I've said this many times on the channel, are much better and should perform much better in a competitive environment in tournaments. And I'm just like hoping to get to try this UK Sherman lists. I'm not that eager to try the Churchill list, although I am having like I have like a lot of boxes to show you guys about I got my late war Churchills. I've assembled these bad boys, these crocodiles, as an assembling let's say tip. You can assemble crocodiles with also the possibility to have them to switch between the turrets, and to have, for example, if you're looking for normal 75 millimeters cannons, you can have them with this kit. This kit is really great. It's not that cheap, but the build material is really good. I will try to do a review on this kit and to help you guys with some tips of how to build them in that way that you can like utilize every Sherman possibility that you can have, every Sherman variant that you can make from them. For example, with the crocodile, they have just this you know, the flamethrower notch which comes over the machine gun, the whole machine gun here. This you can have it just on top of the machine gun, and if you just want your crocodile to be a late version 75 millimeter, for example, you just remove it from there. I suggest you guys don't glue it, so that in that way you can like switch between normal and crocodile Churchills. But that will be in a building video. I'll try to do a short review of these kits. As you know, if you followed my channel or if you checked my videos, I'm doing this kit reviews also, so basically you guys can see what these kits consists of. And maybe I'm not such a big pro into this domain. I mean, it's not my my main feature. For example, I'm more of a player than a painter, as some of my guys say here at the local store. I like to play more, and I'm more competitive than caring that much about how my model look. But I'm 100% for with those people that say that having painted models on your tabletop, it's absolutely a must to have a good quality, a good experience with your hobby. And I encourage everybody to not use proxies, to have painted models, and to be able to get the experience that you deserve as a war gamer. I mean, for example, I play just 1 or 2 games a month. I can't do more than that because for real life, and I think everybody here has families and everybody here has the work to do, and then it's very difficult for us to keep up with work and playing. And when you play, you want your table to look good and to have good models on them, good painted models. Basically, I will try to switch on. So as I said, I will try the UK D-Day Shermans as soon as possible, as soon as the game store opens here. We hope this weekend, but we just have to see how things are going here in Romania. They're a bit shady about what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do, if you have to wear masks and all those kind of things. But that's another story, it's another thing, and it's another topic. I'm not talk show presenter, and I don't want to do that. I will just make myself a little bit smaller. Okay, now with those daily deals, everybody like it's crazy, and I suggest, yeah, about the thing that I talked about earlier, the fact that people should use models, and now you have the opportunity. It's a good time for you guys to be able to get models that you wouldn't want to spend money on, or maybe you'll just proxy them because you won't take them into your hardcore list, into your tournament list. Now is the time. I mean, with those daily deals and with the free shipment, it's actually you get models for half the price. So for me, it's basically something that makes me spend a lot of money. and not as much as I would have spent in a normal scenario without daily deals. I've bought myself 2 anti-aircraft platoons, one German, the mobile wagons, and one American. I wouldn't have bought them in a normal stance. I would like to, for example, talk to you and present to you one of the ideas that, I mean, I've started from this idea that I've bought these models and I want to see if I can fit them into my tournament list, into my daily use lists, let's say. And I think I found some lists that could actually work and could be they could be some of these models could be quite interesting from my point of view. For example, if we go to okay, let's go do new force. I don't know what I was doing here, but it's how it is remained. So going over the D-Day American, I've bought this M15 M16A anti-aircraft platoon. Then I was just, you know, looking over the stats and saying, well, how good this anti-aircraft could be, and especially if you think that we're going to have typhoons flying over tabletops pretty soon, and people will really use them, and we'll see an increase in the use of these airplanes. I'm sure the Sturmovik will also be something that people will bring to the table. I mean, concerning the number of heavy tanks that we're going to see, and Panthers and everything, all the heavy duty equipment, I'm pretty sure everybody will be bringing something to protect their assets. For me, as an American player, I can't say that it's a must, because if you build, you can't build US lists having in mind that you have to protect one platoon. All platoons in a US list are equally matched from my point of view, and they each play, of course, they each play their certain role, but they all have to be important in your list. You can't have just a star. Like, for example, in defense, in German defensive lists, you have those Tigers that you need to protect, and you know those are the core heavy protection that you have, and those 88s, those pack front 88s, or things like this. Here in the US book, you'll have 76s, you'll have M10s, you'll have your infantry, which is pretty much, you know, very fragile and very susceptible to bombardments and this kind of things, and you need to protect them. But this unit actually, except the fact that it's aggressive and it's hit on 3+, I think it's a very good unit to have if you can spare 4 points. I wouldn't go for the 2 points, but for the 4 points I would go any day. And if I have this 4 points to spare on, they are very good. Why I'm telling you this? Because I've just seen that they have halted ROF of 4 on the M15, on the 37mm, and halted ROF of 5 on the quad. This adds up. I mean, aside from the fact that they are a very good anti-aircraft unit, and aside of the fact that they'll be very good in defending your M10s or your 76s, or maybe you get some allied Churchills to have on the table to be able to push or to be able to defend, and these guys will be able to provide you with the defense that you need. So they are a very good anti-aircraft unit. They are armored, so they will not be susceptible to bombardments. I mean, they will be pretty resilient from this perspective. They will not suffer the detriments that the anti-aircraft from the normal non-armored anti-aircraft from the German side suffers. But what is very interesting, okay, they are slow firing, so basically you will have a moving ROF of 2, but you have a penalty for shooting, adding +1 for the to hit being slow firing, But for me, for example, I will just dash these guys, dash follow me, and then next turn shoot with them against for example 88 or PAX or anything else, because your opponent will be pretty busy killing your Shermans or shooting for your infantry. I don't think somebody will shoot your anti-aircraft, and when you have something with the 4+ firepower to dig out cannons, and you have 8 shots for basically 2 points, with a firepower of 4+ to dig out guns. For me, this is perfect. Then you add up those 10 shots with a firepower of 5+ that you have also to be able to dig out. So you have 18 shots in total from all these 4 models, 18 shots to take care of gun teams, and also why not other small vehicles, because you have some anti-tank power here, 5 and 4. Okay, it's not that great, it's not that big, but the amount of fire that you bring with this platoon for 4 points, I think it's incredible. I mean, for example, if you take for 4 points in an American list, you would take 2 Stuarts, let's say. Let's go to veterans. So veteran Stuarts are not, let's not compare them to the veteran, because it wouldn't do them very good, because they are they are 4+ to hit. These guys are 3+ to hit. So for 6 points, you get 3 M5 Stuarts. These guys will bring you a combined fire power of 6. Yes, so you'll have 6 shots. I'm counting here, keeping in mind that you're moving, and then next turn you are shooting. Okay, they're more mobile. Can't say anything about that. These have a tactical of 12, they have a cross country of 24. They're absolutely great to bring into your opponent's face and blast the hell out of them and shoot those guns. But you have for 6 points, so more than the 4 points, you have just 3 models. Those there you have 4 models, and you have just six shots with firepower 4+. There, only from the 2 M15s, you have 8 shots, firepower 4+. Okay, armor wise, these guys are looking better, but in late war, Stuarts or half tracks, from my point of view, it's equal. I mean, if you're shooting 80-12, 80-14 into their face, it's nothing. That's it. You just don't you don't die from machine guns, but other than that, it's quite hard. Hello, Andre. Hello. Good to see somebody is watching. I see there's someone else also watching, but I'm counting that people watch this stream afterwards. So I discovered this only by buying a platoon, a unit that I wouldn't have normally buy, because I would have said it's crap. I don't use anti-aircraft on my list, especially with the fact that airplanes have a different mechanic now. They will come much more often on the table. They will bring, for example, the US airplane. You will be able to shoot it down on 5s, and then he has a 3+ save, and then of course you need to hit that firepower. Now with this anti-aircraft, actually it makes sense to shoot at them. It doesn't, I mean, for example, I was shooting 50 cals at them. It didn't do any good. Okay, by luck maybe I would have been able to bring down an airplane, but never the 2 of them. I mean, it happened very, 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 I think just once, and that was Fabi telling me that one of my colleagues from the Romanian team, that his airplane was shot down just by luck, you know, with 50 kills. That happens, but you cannot rely on that in competitive games and in real game situations. So this anti-aircraft unit, I think, will find a place in my list from now on. It's not a core unit, and this is this disadvantage that it has compared to, for example, the German books, where you have core units, core anti-aircraft units that can bolster your lists. This is a step we're taking now into the German list, but I'm not going to talk about the list now. I'm just going to talk about another asset that I've bought, the Mobile Wagon anti-aircraft tank. First, I wanted this because when I started, I mean, 50% of the people I know started playing Flames of War with Germans. Absolutely logical, having in mind that you either take the Axis or the Allies as one of your preferred lists, and of course this is the main list. These are the main lists. If you have, for example, for the Allies, you have either Russians, US, UK, you can play all these major nations. For the Axis, you just have the Germans as a major force, let's say. And I always wanted these mobile wagons. These guys are much more expensive. They come in at 10 points, and for a German unit at 10 points, they're not that expensive, but I can't say that you can use them for the same purpose as you could have. I mean, as we just discussed about the American anti-aircraft. I wouldn't bring mobile wagons in front of cannons just to destroy them and shoot at them and hope to blaster them. Although they have a moving rough of 2, so you have 8 shots of 4+, with 4+ firepower. That doesn't really happen that often with the Germans. Germans don't have stabilizers. I mean, for example, if yeah, any armored vehicle is good for 1 point. Yes, and especially if they can do some damage. And those anti-aircraft vehicles can really hurt lists. And I'm just more than eager to be able to play with you guys and see how it goes. So these mobile wagons, I won't talk about their armor. It's just good. It's just there not to get shot by machine guns. These guys have a halted rough of 3, moving rough of 2. This time they are not slow firing. You can shoot them. You can move and shoot with them. You have 8 shots with firepower 4+. Again, you can use against cannons. You can use against infantry teams. Even more aggressive than with the Americans, and it's good that they are hit on 4+. But usually, in the current meta, I don't see. I haven't seen. I mean, in the competition, I've seen the lists, and in the tournaments I've went to, I haven't seen Panzer IV lists, Panzer IV attacking lists. So basically, you wouldn't take your mobile wagon to go and take out the enemy's guns, but you would protect your Tigers with them, and these guys can do a pretty good job on that. I mean, for this, they have an anti-tank of 7, much better than the 5 we find in the Americans, and a firepower of 4+. I think they are a very nice and very good unit. Unfortunately, the Germans have a better unit, and I say this because everybody should take this unit. I mean, when they play infantry, it's a must. It's a must. You get the Stummels. The Stummels are absolutely great. They are a great point value. They are just incredible. I mean, you get them for 1.5 point. It's absolutely the go-to unit to have in your list. Either you're building a mechanized list, a maneuver list, or a defensive list. This is a must. They help you get rid of a lot of pesky things like Shermans. If you bring these guys into their side, they're toasted, and also can help you out with other enemy cannons or other things that could hurt you. Okay, they can't do anything about the Churchills, but you can actually cause some pain on maybe some Panthers, and maybe you could be quite a sneaky one, and tried to get the flank on the Churchills. It's not something that I would recommend, of course, but it's very good point-wise. So then the mobile wagon in an offensive list would play kind of the same role with the anti-tank 7 and firepower 4+, especially by the fact that it's a core unit. Then the list is you can find mobile wagons anti-aircraft in a Tiger list, in a Panzer IV list. No, in the Panzer IV you cannot have it. That's very interesting. Very sad. Mobile wagons are really good. You can have them in the Panther list. So really nice. Good. So these are lists that these are the units that I bought just by mistake, and I'm pretty sure that I've just thought about this features that they can bring to my list, and I find them very interesting and very very powerful. What other thing I've noticed was this article on the hobby list on the front page on the Flames of War website. About paratroopers, an article by Tama Mascele. It's a really nice article, and they give us, the author gives us a list that he would bring to a tournament. He says that he's not a very experienced player, and he doesn't play that much. But the idea behind this list was what took my attention and what made me like go over it and watch and see if it's a good list, if it's a list that people can bring and play. And the parachute company, it's very good. The parachute platoon, it's a very good infantry. It's much better, much better than whatever else we have in the US book. And in mixture with the Sherman Armored Squadron, could be a nice maneuver list from my point of view. We shall see how maybe he will present us some of his gameplay. But yep, I really need to try this Sherman Firefly. If you guys had any experience with the lists, and if you guys tried anything in the UK book, please let me know. And I'm also eager to go and play them and see how they go, and see if my advices and what I've said about them, if they are better than the American Shermans. From what perspective, they will lose the moving ROF, but as I said, stabilizers could be something good, could be something bad for you. Depends on what's going on the table and what you're playing against. If you're playing against veterans and 4+ to hit, it is usually a downside having stabilizers and having to shoot with a +1 penalty to hit. But other than that, I don't see. I mean, points wise, you get for 17 points. You get 4 Shermans platoon, 3 Shermans with a Firefly, and the same. I mean, in an American list, you'll get 18 points, I think, for normal Shermans. Let me just check with that. But I think 18 points it was. I know for sure that the 76s are 22 points. No, it's 17, so it's the same price. The same price for 80-10. I don't know. I can't wait to go and test them out and see how it goes. Okay, the good thing is that you can blitz with these guys. You cannot blitz with the British Shermans, because you have a 50-50 chance of failing your blitz, and that's kind of wholesome. I mean, it's horrific when you try to shoot at other things. Guys, I've ranted about Shermans, I've ranted about models and about the anti-aircraft units that I've bought. If you guys have anything else that you would like to talk about, would be nice. And I'm waiting if you have any questions regarding lists and regarding something else. Please feel free to let them in my on the video description. For example, I know that in our last stream we had some comments, and I'm really happy that people interact and people say what they would like to hear and what they would like to find out. And for example, House of Hengis comics, which is one of the first, let's say, wargaming YouTubers that I've subscribed to and I've watched, and I really liked his tabletop stories, his series where he was presenting us really nice historical themed battles, and I just felt in love with the hobby even more, and I've started playing even more Flames of War, and it's quite nice. And he suggested me that we should try and play a game remotely, and I will be more than happy to have him join us in a future show and see how things will go, and how we can improve our social experience from this point, from this perspective, from the perspective of interacting with each other, even in times where, for example, now it's harder to get games, and it's harder to play at your local hobby stores. Basically, I'll try to wrap up for today. It's quite late, and it's hard making a stream without Lud, actually. I hope you'll be able to join me on Friday, and I hope we will have a blast then. Christian is going to come also, and we're going to discuss a lot of interesting things. I plan to also go into the German book and to see some German lists. I have a lot of lists to present you from the American book also, and some lists I've tested, and some of them are, for example, the Recon Patrol list, and the Ivory list, a list that I really like. It's quite nice, and it's something that someone that thinks of playing defensively should really think about it. I mean, okay, now with the 29th Infantry, with a new book added by the UK book in the US Arsenal, the 29th Infantry Division Crocodile Support, it's much powerful in the standing point. I mean, you have crocodiles, you can bring in Churchills. It's a lot harder for the enemy to take you off the objective. But until this card came, my favorite card was the 4th Infantry Division Ivy, which it's quite nice because it offers you the possibility to have a priest artillery battery as a core unit, and everybody, I mean, all US players should have a priest unit in their lists. It's a platoon that it's 8 points for a very good template. It's 8 points that can do a lot of damage to your enemy, and it's 8 points that sometimes it can help you in defensive play also. I try to take the M7 priests in all my lists. If I can't, I'm taking the M12, and if I cannot take the M12, then my list is I wouldn't go to a tournament without M7 priests. I have them bought another box, so basically we can run 2 of these bad boys on the table, 2 of these platoons. But this is in the next stream, in the next clip. I will wrap it up. It's been a long day for me also, and see you guys on Friday. Take care.